This is your goofy Uncle GreatTreeJam, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Mass Effect 1. In our last two episodes, we decided to help Urdnot Rex reobtain his family armor. In order to do so, we had to head to the planet of Tuntau and assault a mercenary base. Along the way, we took out Tonactus and his group of thugs, and we finally managed to get Rex's armor back, and it looks like he's pretty happy with that. But now that we're done here, it's time to head to the planet's surface and start scanning for any items that we missed when we headed in here. Typically, whenever I run into an assignment in Mass Effect 1, what I like to do is I like to go and do the main assignment related stuff first, and then I come back for any items, resources, crates and whatnot that I need to unlock. So that's going to be my general plan for almost all the assignments. There will be some exceptions. But for the most part, that's the kind of formula I will follow. But what I'm going to go ahead and do right here is I'm actually going to get the Normandy to pick up the Mako and drop us back off where we started. And we're going to drive out of bounds in order to do that.
You need to turn back, Commander. You're going beyond the range of the operational area. You went right off the scanners, Commander. Now we have to bring you back.
Alright, we are back at the landing zone that we were first dropped off at when we landed on Tuntau. Now that we're actually here, let's go back and collect some of these resources that we missed. I actually wanted to take some opportunity to, before I get to these resources, to talk about something interesting that happened a little bit over a week ago. A little bit over a week ago, I actually took part in my first podcast ever, and this is actually a podcast for a group website called Let's Play Sanctuary. For those of you that don't know what Let's Play Sanctuary is, it's an online forum site for people who are Let's Players and gameplay commentators. Essentially a site where we can have people from those groups who get together and either do collaborative work, hang out with other members who do similar work, or just provide feedback on commentary, video and audio editing, stuff that just helps us grow and develop as Let's Players. It's a very pretty decent site. They got a nice community there. I think it would be somewhat similar in the vein of sites like Game Anyone, or I guess you can. Some people have actually talked about a place called the Voltron Army, which I believe is not as active as it used to be in the past. We've had a lot of people from that site actually come over to Let's Play Sanctuary and find a home here, so to speak. But during the podcast a little over a week ago, I actually hung out with 3 moderators and 1 admin from the Let's Play Sanctuary site. And these podcasts are actually pretty new for Let's Play Sanctuary. The Sanctuary has actually never had a podcast before, as far as I can tell. So I think myself and some other people were actually just the guinea pigs getting the podcast started off the ground. And when I was on there, it was their second podcast, so they really didn't have, as far as this kind of structure that you would get from more well-established podcasts that have been around for much longer. But we just hung out and talked about gaming, Let's Plays, talked about the quality of content on the site, as well as some forum-related stuff, just stuff related to the state of the forums, people's ability to navigate and get through stuff here and there, utilize the site features, that sort of thing. And it was a pretty nice experience to get to know some of the folk that I hang out with. I believe it was me, Games and Soda, American Killjoy, Warped Pixels, and Torchic. And I think Torchic had to leave early because Torchic was actually getting pretty tired. But we just sat around and talked for about 3 hours. And 3 hours is like 2 hours longer than I would ever spend in a podcast. It's trying to talk for a podcast of 3 hours is kind of tiring. But in either case, I thought it was a good opportunity to get to know some of the folk that produce content on the site, some of their fellow Let's Players. And it was a kind of a heartwarming experience to get to know the people who who have provided feedback, provided advice for my Let's Play series. And one thing I want to mention is that with the Let's Plays that you're seeing right now, these episodes, a lot of these episodes would not be where they are were it not for some of the folk at Let's Play Sanctuary who have provided advice and feedback over the past several months. They've provided everything from help with commentary, help with some video and audio editing techniques, and also suggestions as far as rig setups and recording setups. So I just want to give a quick shout out to the folk at Let's Play Sanctuary for helping with this Let's Play and helping me get more comfortable with providing the kind of quality that I would like to provide for a Let's Play of Mass Effect 1. So just wanted to mention them out and give a little quick shout out. But what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to grab this last item, and I will actually cut the video and audio footage here, and I will see you guys in this area. Alright, and that item right there was actually the last item. It was an Asari capsule. So since we're done here, I'm going to go ahead and start pulling off any of the upgrades that I've given to my squad mates. I'm going to get Rex to give back his suit upgrades, but I'm actually going to keep Garrus's upgrades because in a little bit we're going to be doing Garrus's own personal assignment. So let's go ahead and call for exfil, and I'll see you guys back at the CIC. Alright, welcome back guys. We are at the CIC right now, and I've been looking through the assignments and thinking about stuff that I wanted to do, and I want to go ahead and fulfill Garrus's personal request, so let's go ahead and take care of that. So in order to do Garrus's side mission or assignment, we're actually going to need to go to, I believe it's, the Kepler Verge, the Herschel system. So let's go ahead and head over there. For those of you that remember, I think a few episodes back, we talked to Garrus about some stuff that he needed to take care of, some personal errand. He mentioned a certain mad Saleon doctor who had been cutting up people and growing organs inside of them, just doing some generally not nice things to them. And he wants to bring this doctor to justice in the vigilante fashion. We're gonna head to the Herschel system and find Dr. Saleon. Alright, we are here. While we are actually here, let's take the time to scan the system for any resources that might help us out. So here we have an asteroid that's going to give us a nice deposit of platinum. Let's go ahead and grab that. And I think that's pretty much the only thing that we need to grab. You can take a look at the planetary descriptions, and as I mentioned before, I'm not going to be reading through all of these. If you feel like I'm going too fast, just go ahead and pause the video and read at your own pace. So I'm just going to go through each of these planets, and I'm going to let you guys just, get an idea of what the descriptions look like, and get to appreciate the amount of effort that BioWare has put in when they were making the planetary descriptions in-game. It kind of shows the universe that BioWare was trying to create, and a lot of these feels like content that they could have added some extra features and such, given a little more opportunity to explore space, but I think that they had to, made some last minute decisions to cut some content in order to make the release date. But we were actually done here, and I think I went ahead and looked at every single planet. Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna look at Klugon one more time. I just want to note, 100 moons, that's a lot. I guess it makes sense because it's a gas giant, but I don't know. 100 moons makes me happy. It's kind of astounding to think about. But anyway, let's go ahead and land on the MSV Fedele. And here we will find Dr. Saleon. So for this mission, we're definitely taking Garrus along with us, and he will have his suit upgrades that we had from last time. And I'm going to bring either Kaidan or Liara. I'm actually leaning more towards, let's go ahead and go with Kaidan. I want to try and bring someone who I think brings a moderate perspective that can balance out Garrus's slightly gung-ho personality. Garrus is a bit of a hothead. He likes to charge into a situation and do things the vigilante way, which is not always the best approach if you're going for a Paragon character. So Caden, I believe, embodies the kind of character who believes in some form of accountability and has that moderate perspective that tends to give us a little bit of an it's kind of like the character who has the mindset of someone who wants to operate with integrity and operate with a little bit of accountability. So that's why I brought Caden along. Also, we're going to need Caden's biotics and his neural shock in just a bit. So if you guys remember the assignment that I had with Chairman Burns, we actually were in a very similar location. Pretty much these freighters and ships are laid out in pretty similar fashions. The only thing that differs would be how cargo is stacked around the room. But for the most part, the ship layout is pretty much the same. You're going to enter through this particular area. You're going to have this large chamber, a hallway, and then the main cargo hold. And then beyond this will be the bridge and two side chambers, if you want to call them that. It's a pretty similar layout for every ship you will ever board in Mass Effect 1. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to get the enemies to charge in. These enemies are a bit different. Instead of using guns or ranged attacks, they will actually like to, as you can see right there, like to charge in and try and hit you with a little bit of poison spray. And you want to be extremely careful because these guys can do a lot of damage if you're not careful. But let's go ahead and get them all within one area, and I'm going to go ahead and toss a grenade. Typically, whenever you have melee-based creatures, you want to stay moving. You don't want to get pinned down in one location because these guys like to swarm you and overwhelm you and your squad. Now, if you're like me and you have the latest gear, the best equipment in game, it may not matter too much. Especially if you're already at high level, you can sit back and hit these guys from a distance and they can't do anything. Like so. But if you're in a low level or a medium level, you don't want to be the one caught in an area where you have no room to maneuver. That is a very quick and very surefire way to get you and your squad killed, and you don't want that. What I'm going to go ahead and do is take out a couple of test subjects, and then I'm going to run into the room and take out the stragglers. Now, because I have combat exoskeleton, this upgrade will actually allow me to increase the power of my melee attacks. So as you can see, one melee strike from Shepard is enough to floor these enemies and knock them down, which is pretty useful for getting out of a sticky situation if you ever need to. You can also use these containers to set off explosions if you wish.
Area secured.
But we're pretty much done with this area. We fought almost all the enemies that we need to. All we have left is Dr. Saleon. And the room where he is in is the only room where we will have any kind of items whatsoever. So let's go ahead and confront the good doctor, and I'm going to get my pistol out just in case. We're going to give Dr. Saleon the chance to stand down, and if he decides to pursue a violent approach, then we'll use force. Okay, Garrus, come on. Thank you. Oh my god, Garrus, you're being impossible. Alright, there we go. Let's do it.
Thank you. Thank you for saving me from those things.
Commander, that's him. That's Dr. Saleon.
What? My name is Hart. Dr. Hart. Please, get me out of here.
Are you sure it's him?
Positive. There's no escape this time, Doctor. I'd harvest your organs first, but we don't have the time.
You're crazy. He's crazy! Please, don't let him do this to me.
We'll take him in, drop him off with the military.
But we have him. We can't let him get away. Not again.
If he dies, we'll never know what he's been up to, or how he did it. We'll take him in, interrogate him, and he'll serve his time.
Okay. You're right. You're a very lucky Salarian. You owe the commander your life.
Oh, thank you so very much.
And so he dies anyway. What was the point of that?
You can't predict how people will act, Garrus, but you can control how you'll respond. In the end, that's what really matters.
Yeah. I don't think I ever met anyone like you, Commander. Well, I guess we're done here.
Saleon's medical equipment is stained with the blood of many species. Pale blue, violet, orange, and more than a few dark red. But his work is ended here. Time to head back to the Normandy. So we did exactly what we needed to do as Paragon characters. We gave Saleon the chance to stand down. He did not take that chance, and we were forced to use lethal force. So, as far as I'm concerned, we did exactly what we needed to do in order to stay Paragon. So we're going to go ahead and grab these last few items, and I believe that is all that we need to do on this ship. So we're pretty much done here. We have finished Garrus' quest. Let's go ahead and head out, and I will see you guys back on the Normandy CIC. So we are back at the Normandy CIC, but I think we are actually, we are actually out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video and audio footage here, and next time, I'm not quite sure what I want to do next. I really want to get the Pharaoh's mission out of the way, but at the same time, there are some side missions, some assignments that I'd like to do. So we'll see what happens. Kind of undecided. But for right now, this is GreatTreeJam, and I just want to wish you guys a happy day, night, evening, afternoon, wherever you may be in this universe or the next. And I hope to see you in my next vid. But until then, bye.